Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Sara Jane. This is Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls on Gift of Healing TV. And as I'm sure you can see, I am joined by my sister, Jackie. Jackie, welcome and thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for inviting me again.
We'll never not invite you.
Well, you never know. I might know you one day.
I think we've known each other a bit too long for that. maybe it's a habit. sorry. And that is sort of a little play on our topic tonight. Habits, good or bad. And I am going to start it with the little quote that I was sharing to advertise this, if you like. The habits you created to survive will no longer serve you when it's time to thrive. Get out of survivor mode. New habits, new life. From tinybuddha.com, which was a quote I took from, I think they probably shared it on both Facebook and Twitter. And you know what? It makes so much sense to me. That habit, I hadn't thought about it as a habit, but I thought about it as the role of our mind to protect us as a child. And that's where it becomes the habit you created to survive. So Jackie, please put your oar in.
Stick my oar in. So my favourite quote is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think that's about habits and different things. So whether it's the fact that you've got the cookie jar on the same side in the kitchen so that every time you walk in, you're tempted to pick up a cookie because it makes you feel better, but it doesn't really longer term make you feel better because you end up on putting on the pounds that you don't want to put on. You know, it's about changing things up. I used to say to clients of mine, if you want to break some of those habits, then maybe change some things around. Change where the cookie jar is, change where the kettle is, change where the sugar pot is, change where, you know, where have you got your settee in your lounge or sitting room, whatever you want to call it. Move things around so that you actually have to think about what you're doing rather than being stuck in a habit. And I had a number of clients who actually did move things around, and they said how liberating in a way it was, because it did get them thinking, because they didn't realize how many habits they actually had.
But then I actually used to do that. I wasn't aware that you used to tell people to do that. But when there was a big change, and it was just like, actually, and I would take a room and I would change things around. Yeah. And my own bedroom, mind you, it was in 12 years, but I think I've moved things around 3 times in the bedroom. Yeah. So it's not always in exactly the same place. Yeah. And if that's the easiest thing for you to do, and it then helps you to change other things. Mm-hmm. We've said habits good and bad, you know, and okay, whether you want to use the word prayer, whether you want to use the word gratitude, there are habits like that I would not knock anybody for having, you know, sort of, because to me that gratitude, whether it's a journal, whether it's just getting up in the morning and saying thank you for being alive, for the food you're eating, the water you drink, the roof over your head, the clothes you wear. If you go into gratitude, to me, that's a good habit. That's a positive habit. But who's to say what's good and what's bad? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it truly is. And I think, what's good and bad, I think one of the things that I remember looking at when I did some of my training and things was the fact we have different parts of ourselves. And this part of ourselves, the habit that we've had for years and years, is there to keep us safe and to protect us. It's a habit that has been put into place to look after us. And it may have been put into place many, many years ago. And now, in effect, it's got us a bit stuck in a rut and isn't allowing us to move on. And then there comes that little bit of frustration that comes. And these thoughts about, I'd like to do something different. I'd like to be somebody different. I'd like to have more confidence, more courage. I'd like to do this. I'd like to swim with dolphins. I'd like to just do anything. But they're things that also want to help make your life better, these thoughts. So you have the protection of the old habits here, and you have the thought of the new things here. And it's about how you can bring those together, because both are trying to take care of you. Neither one is good nor bad in the sense that they are trying to look after you. So it's about knowing them, seeing them and accepting them, and slowly bringing them together so they can work together. Yeah. So you can bring some new in, you can keep some of the old if it's right, and you do it slowly, not a drastic change, not all or nothing.
Yeah, but then okay, it's like, to me, life is for living, and Semi proved that over the weekend, because I did the wing walk. But if somebody said to me, I'll give you millions to do a bungee jump, there is no way you couldn't pay me enough money. So if that, I know they say feel the fear and do it anyway. Well, the fear of doing the wind walk, which I wasn't really that afraid of doing it, but so it was certainly an experience, but I suppose I wasn't totally in control. I had the choices to get onto the wing, and I had the choice to be able to get off before the plane took off. I had the choices, and I really did. But once the plane took off, it was out of my hands. With a bungee jump, it's your choice to jump off and go head first. Stepping off for the zip wire was bad enough, and that was just a short run. And I'm going to be doing the mile-long one later this month. But it's feel the fear and do it anyway with some things. But as you said, there are some things it's about protection. And it's just like, would I put my hand into a flame? No, I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And to me, a bungee jump is the equivalent of putting my hand into a flame. No, I wouldn't. It is about self-preservation. But to me, it is about also living my life. And it is really good that we have that part of us that truly wishes to protect us. But it's protect us by all means, but also help us to live. So breaking some of the habits that do hold us back. You think, oh, I'd really like to have a go at that. And how many people's, wing walk, oh yes. And then the mind immediately comes in. What about this? What about the other? What if the straps break? What if? And you talk yourself out of an experience before you even get 2 seconds into the thought of I'd like to do it.
And I think we all do that. And it's about, sometimes it's become such a habit to knock things on the head with our own thoughts. Before we've actually even given them proper thought about, do we really want to do them? And so I've got this way of thinking. If there's something that I think of that I'd like to do, or I'd like to read, sort of like think about it or hear about it once, okay, that's fine. Second time, okay, sit up and take notice. A third time, then it's probably something I want to do or I should do or something like that. And I've said in the past, I don't like the word should, but I in that context, I use it as a positive, as in I need to take pay a bit more attention to it and actually investigate it, check it out. Is there something in it, or is it something that actually I just want to have the power to go, no, that's not for me. So, and I think that's another thing is these instructions about, habits and everything else. Do what's right for you and do it at your own pace. Don't feel that you're being bullied into making changes or pressured or blackmailed, or even, and we can even blackmail ourselves into doing things. But I think this session is really about when you have that awareness of where tiny habits that you may not even be aware of have crept into your life that are actually stopping you from moving forward with something that could be life-changing in a positive way.
Oh, absolutely. And it is about thinking about it, but thinking about it from the heart perspective. What are you choosing? And you were saying about comes at me once, comes at me twice, comes at me 3 times. They say if something comes at you 3 times, you really, I'm going to use the word should, you should pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Which totally confused sort of my partner, because something had been coming at me and I'm sure I've shared this before, Oceana, Oceanos, and Oceanic. And the words were just too similar. And the first two had already come at me. And then the third time he said, oh, I've had a phone call. I've had an email from somebody at Oceanic. They want to get in touch. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Because it was just like, why's that come at me 3 times?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is listened. So if swimming with dolphins,
yeah,
or whatever it is, if something you hear about something, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that, but it goes away. And I just heard a cat.
You just want to hear a cat. Yes, the cat wants to come up and say hello. You're going to see a tail.
But it's I'd like to do that. But you let it slide, because that's number one. Or it hasn't got to be an experience. It could be something like experiencing a massage, or having your ears candled, or having an Indian head massage. It could be any number of different things. But if you feel something, and it's feeling it, it's not letting this take over, it's feel it. Yeah. But then you let it slide, because this does kick in.
Yeah.
And then it crops up again, and you feel it again. And then it crops up again. My suggestion would be pay attention, let go of the habit of dismissing things.
Yeah.
Because when your heart speaks, and because of the way I think we were all brought up in so many different ways, it's just like, no, you can't do things for yourself. And that is a habit. That is a very bad habit, to me, that we've all got into, of listening to what has been said to us about, you cannot do things for yourself. Everybody else has to come first. And that, to me, is a habit. I know we have to be considerate of others, and that being there for others is next week's topic. Be there for others, but don't leave yourself behind. And I get this sort of this being, it's a bit selfish to think of yourself. Well, do you know what? We have to be at times. I really do believe we have to be. Yeah.
I think it's become a habit to think that way, that you can't put yourself first. Yeah. And I think, there's a balance in everything.
Yeah.
And if you're never putting yourself first, if you're never making that time for yourself, if you're never doing those things, in a course I was on not that long ago, it was called gifting. Doing something for yourself, having a relaxing bath, going for
we've lost you.
Yourself a bar of chocolate. Whatever it is, but just doing something, and make a habit of putting yourself time. Schedule it in your diary. That hour on that day of that week of the month is going to be for you.
Yeah. And it is a habit.
It's a good one.
It is a habit we've got into, of everybody else has to come first. And I am getting better at, getting out of that habit. Yes, there are no two ways about it. I do think about other people, but I do think about myself too, because it is important. And I can do so much more for people for having had the consideration for myself.
Yeah.
And it's changing that habit of thought. And so maybe this is thought tells you it is selfish to do things for yourself. That, to me, is a bad habit, because it's like money. Money's dirty. Money's evil. Money's none of those things. Money is just money.
Money is just a currency.
It is
just the same as doing a favor for somebody, as doing, it's
and any exchange.
Yeah. And people have put this negative connotation around it, and as though money is something that's bad. And I think it's like all of us, we all choose how we're going to use it, and what we're going to do with it, and everything else. And so I think put in some people's hands, what they do with that money is bad, but the money itself wasn't bad.
No. No,
You know?
exactly. And so it is getting over the habit of what
Yeah.
we have had instilled in us.
Yeah.
So that habit
Yeah.
has actually been instilled in us, whether it's by religion, parents, school, it doesn't matter who or what by. To me,
Yeah.
it is what has been instilled in us. And that is a
Yeah.
very difficult habit to break. But
Yeah.
I have done, I did right back at the beginning, I did one on money. And there is
Yeah.
nothing evil about money. There's nothing good about money. And I can't remember the exact thing about the saying, but it's basically people were made to be loved, things were made to be used,
Yeah.
not the other way round. And that's the problem with a lot of things today. People are used and things are loved. Let
Oh, that's so true.
Yes. Oh,
So
absolutely.
true.
But money is a thing to be used. And when you can use it to the benefit of yourself and to others, yeah, and obviously what you're doing with if everyone cares and a dodo is about helping people. You know, you've put so much of your own money into that because it would be something so positive, not just for the UK, but long term for the whole world. You know, Jackie and I don't think small.
I think, you know, I mean, let me be very honest. I mean, in some ways, what I'm doing is very selfish because it is something that I want to do.
Mm,
I want to do it. You know, if I didn't want to do it, then I'm darn sure that I probably wouldn't. But it's become such a passion, and so it's a habit. My habit is at the moment is in hanging in there, taking one small step at a time to move forward, and you know, slowly making a difference and getting there with it. So I think habits can mean so many different
yeah.
things. You know, to one person, habit can mean one thing in this context, one thing in another context, another in another, and another in another, and it just goes
All right, I'm
round.
not turning the lights on.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I was going to say you disappeared. I know I've gone dark, so everybody, I sort of apologise. I'm not at home this week, hence the fact that there's a cat here. There was another one outside meowing just now, so I'm looking forward to going and making sure that that one's all right as well. I'm looking after my son's cats at my son's, so which is a rather nice treat. So
So,
definitely,
but it is about habits. There are so many different types of things that are habit.
yeah,
A thought, a feeling, you know, sort of a thing, a doing. And we aren't doings, we're beings. Yeah, and it, you know, and I appreciate, and Jackie's a mum, my other sister is a mum, they're both grandmothers too. You know, and you like to do things for your kids and for your grandkids, and I like doing things for my sisters and for my mum, which I've done earlier this week. We do things for people, but we have to be within ourselves, to me, when we
I
can
think it's a
truly
really
give.
yeah. I think it's a really interesting one because I think so often we are so stuck in that habit of doing the different things for other people.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just have to give us a look and we've said yes. They haven't had to ask us, you know, we've said yes or we've offered. That's the one that's here. Has anybody ever done that, known that somebody was going to ask something and then gone, oh, such and such later in the week? I thought you might want
We're
yes,
losing
rather
you
than then
again.
asking. And afterwards you think, why did I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because it's habit. And
Yeah.
I think another thing that I thought of just now is other people can have habits based on their thoughts about who we are. So I think we might have said it in last week's show. I said to you, my children have no idea who I am.
Mm.
Because the habit is in their thought process is that I'm the mum from when they were little. You know, I'm the annoying one that said, go and have your bath and clean your teeth and do all these bits and pieces, and
I
sometimes
know you can't do
shouted,
that.
sometimes did lovely things and whatever else. And so in their mind, that is the person who I am. But actually, my eldest son left home, a frightening amount of years ago now, actually. He's 34. And only probably nearly half his life ago. He's come back in between. But you know, he went a long time ago. My daughter went 8.5 years ago. And my youngest son about 4.5 years ago. But they have no idea at all who I am. They don't even really know what I do, because they think they know who I am. That's their habit. And they don't even, and I don't mean this in a nasty way. I'm not complaining. I'm not whinging, because I'm darn sure I did it with my parents as well. I didn't really know who they were. And I'm sad about that now. Now my dad's gone. I would have loved to have known more about who he was. So yeah, we can get in habits and ruts about our assumptions about other people as well. So habits is a huge subject. Sorry, I went off on my own little.
No. But that's just it, isn't it? Habits. And we're talking about a few here in this program. But hopefully what it's going to do is help those of you that watch this to think, what are the habits in my life? You know, what are the good, healthy habits? And what are those habits it's about time I tried to let go of? Metamorphic technique is a technique about helping you to get rid of old, unwanted behaviors by changing energy pathways in your body. So you don't have to think about it. But some people have to go to things like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and hypnotherapy to try and break habits. And habit to me is a learned behavior. So let's use a different term. That's just what a habit is to me. It is a learned behavior. And a learned behavior is driving to me. Once you have done all your driving lessons, your driving test, you're out on the road, you're driving that car on your own, you don't have to think when to put the clutch in, when to change the gear. You just do it automatically. It is a habit. It is a learned behavior.
Yeah. So, and any learned behavior can be unlearned. Yeah. So I'm not suggesting that people unlearn how to drive if you drive well. That's not the point at all. But you can actually unlearn and change. You can. So one of the things, the tracks of our lives. So to me, if you imagine, and I might have talked about this before on one of the previous programs
on tracks of our lives.
So we did the one on the track. Okay, so look up the tracks of our lives. There, I won't take up the time now, but look back at one of the past ones, and it makes sense. And that's a bit like habits.
Yeah,
stuck in a rut.
So I hope that what this will do for people is give them a thoughtful nuggets and pearls, food for thought.
Yeah.
You know, what would I like to do with my life? And what is stopping me? What old thought pattern? What learned behavior? What habits am I so stuck in that I'm struggling to move forward? So the habits you created to survive will no longer serve you when it's time to thrive. Get out of survivor mode.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, for some people, I'm not talking about changing any of those if they're serving you and they work and you're happy in whatever area of life that is. This is for more when you're feeling frustrated and you know that there's some sort of change you want to make, and it's that feeling there. And when you identify it, you cannot change a habit until you can acknowledge and recognize it. So it's about gaining that awareness, and that's what it's about, really.
Absolutely. Please feel free. I know we've got some of you that have been watching this live and you've all been very quiet, but that's fine. You've got a comment you want to make, something you want to share. Please feel free to do that right now. before we close down, happy to hear from you. However, if you prefer to be more private in the comments, you can email me at giftofhealingtv@gmail.com. Feel free to do that. I'm happy. And if it's Jackie you want it to be sent to, then just put in there, please send this to Jackie. I have no issues with that. You know, it's really important that if there's somebody you feel you would like to connect with, you connect with the right person for you. It can be a really bad habit just to, all right, that's the person that shared that. That's the person I've got to go to. It might be neither of us, but it might give you the impetus to go and talk to somebody else. If it does,
yeah,
brilliant. You know, yeah, I suppose one of my habits has been doing these programs, doing Gift of Healing TV and the Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls, because I feel so passionate about the sharing. And it is a relatively new habit. And it may be one that will have to be broken at some stage, but not at the moment. But do feel free. If you're open to sharing under the video on YouTube or on the Gift of Healing TV website, giftofhealingtv.com, please feel free to do there as well. You know, love to hear from you. If there are any topics you would like us to cover, whether it's me on my own, whether it's Jackie, who just try and join me once a month. But in 2 weeks' time, there will not be a program, as I'm having a well-earned holiday. I haven't had a holiday for over 5 years, so I am having a holiday, which will mean I'm not going to be in a position to be able to do a program. But I am here next week, and that is going to be, as I said earlier, being there for others. Be there for others, but never leave yourself behind. Didinsky. So I hope you will join me for that. Do check out the website. There are other things that I share that other people are doing. Please feel free to check that out. There's loads of stuff happening at the moment. I'm not going to mention anything in particular, because if you're watching this sort of a month down the line, they're not going to be up there anymore. But please feel free to join us, and go to the Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls page on Gift of Healing TV. There's over 60 odd of these from myself and from Jackie and from other people on there. Please feel free to go and enjoy them and experience them, comment them. If somebody from any of the others that you want to get in touch with and you can't get in touch with them for some reason, email me. I'll do what I can to get you to them. I promise that. Thank you so much for joining us. Jackie, thank you again for joining. Much appreciated. And I hope that I will see you again next week. Thank you, Jackie. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Namaste.
Love, peace and light, folks. Namaste.